Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast, education officials announced Monday that 2 St. Croix schools will be closing in the fall. Both Elena Christian Junior High and Evelyn Williams Elementary School are in need of repairs, and the schools will be closed for an entire year while they're renovated. News 2's Erica Parsons has more.
Evelyn Williams Elementary School and Elena Christian Junior High's campuses will be closing next school year.
We want to make sure that we can keep all of our students, faculty, and staff members safe.
Education officials say they're taking a proactive stance since the buildings are in need of serious repair.
After a careful assessment of the facilities, we made the decision that it was best that we come out of the buildings. Roofing issues, structural issues, remediation in the classrooms. It will be a comprehensive overhaul of the facilities.
The campuses are expected to be closed for the entire school year. Officials haven't sent the work out to bid yet. They're doing assessments.
We have had engineers look at the buildings, and we're in the process of developing what is known as a scope of work.
The decision to close the schools is no surprise to parents or staff. Officials say they held meetings with both the parent-teacher associations as well as the unions, but it will still be an adjustment. Students and staff from Elena will move to the Charles H. Emmanuel School campus, and Charles H. will merge with the Alfredo Elementary School. Students and staff from Evelyn Williams will be split between Claudio Marco and Eulalie Rivera Elementary Schools. No layoffs are expected. In fact, Commissioner McCollum said the merger could help with staff shortages, but there may be a delay before the work starts.
The work will not begin right away. It's going to take time for us to identify the money. We know that this is not easy, but this is something that we all need to come together for the good of our children.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
Now, according to a statement, the decision to close the schools was made by the commissioner and Governor Mapp. Commissioner McCollum says she's thankful and grateful to the community and the senators for their support. Senator Kurt Violet introduced a new education campaign Tuesday with his wife and staff and some students beside him. The freshman senator unveiled a new billboard promoting education first, just steps from the educational complex school he once headed. It features high school senior Nachalise Gonzalez.
This is a billboard in reference to educating our young ladies that education is first and everything else can wait.
To the encouragement of my wife on a constant basis, she kept on saying, you need to do something in reference to education, you need to do something, you need to get the message out. And she came up with a great concept in which she said that we needed to place billboards around the island that would focus on education. So this campaign is hopefully going to be an encouragement to all students when they walk in and going to school. It's going to be an encouragement to parents, to the community members.
A great addition there. On Saturday, Senator Marvin Blyden honored 4 women in the community at his first annual scholarship fundraiser. The prayer breakfast fundraiser held at the Smith Bay Business Complex was standing room only and raised some $10,000 in scholarship monies.
Calls started coming in terms of getting assistance for college and or vocational school. So from many parents, the criteria is they write an essay and basically tell the life story in terms of their challenges, why they are deserving of this scholarship, being able to overcome adversities, but at the same time, still meet their goals.
Well, on Thursday, 17 proud graduates of St. Peter and Paul School wore their cap and gown proudly during the school's senior graduation. The event was held at the University of the Virgin Islands Sports and Fitness Center. Danielle Olive was the valedictorian. She will head to Fort Lauderdale to attend Nova Southeastern University to study biology. Meanwhile, salutatorian Candice Bryan will attend UVI, where she will be studying nursing. The 17 graduates will be receiving a little more than $2 million in scholarships combined. Congrats to all the graduates. Now here are some graduation dates to mark on your calendar. Free Will Baptist graduation ceremony will be held on June 5th, 7 p.m. at the Free Will Church. Good Hope Country Day is on June 6th, 5:30 p.m. at Island Center. AZ Academy, June 9th, 6 p.m. at St. Dunstan's. 7-day events will be held June 14th, 10 a.m. at the Educational Complex. CTEC will be held on June 15th, 4 p.m. at the Educational Complex. Adult Education, June 16th, 6 p.m. Central is scheduled for June 17th at 2:30 p.m. at the Central High Gymnasium. Educational Complex will be held on June 18th, 4 p.m. at Island Center. June 6th, that's the Raphael Wheatley Skills Center, of course, that's here in St. Thomas at Charlotte Amalie High School at 4 p.m. The Committee on Government Services, Consumers, and Veterans Affairs met Tuesday in the Lowett's Legislative Conference Room, Frederiksted, to consider 3 pieces of proposed legislation, including Bill number 31-003, which is an act amending the Virgin Islands Code to expand the definition of abandoned motor vehicles, sponsored by Senator Harrigan. The bill was amended and sent on to the Rules and Judiciary Committee. Senator Harrigan said the bill will help to reduce the blight that is prevalent with abandoned cars in our neighborhoods. He revised the language in the original legislation, such as striking more than 48 hours and inserting at least 7 days when a car is left on the public roadways or public property. The Board of Elections of the Virgin Islands responded Thursday to an earlier request by Senator Kenneth Gittens for an informal closed-door session between the election system and members of the legislature. According to the response written by Joint Board Chairman Arturo Watlington, he and his colleagues do not agree with a 2-day closed-door session, suggesting a public meeting instead. Meanwhile, Gittens, who is chairman of the Senate Rules and Judiciary Committee, appears to have changed his mind, now calling for the 2 town hall meetings ahead of his sessions on election reform. The senator stated that the meetings are now meant to be informal sessions between the Joint Elections Board, election system staff, and lawmakers. On the table would be well-needed election reform and possible changes to Title 18 of the VI Code. Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter has launched a Hurricane Awareness Public Education campaign and urges all Virgin Islanders to prepare for the hurricane season, which of course began June 1st and ends on November 30th, 2015. He encourages residents to begin preparations by buying a homeowner's insurance policy. Now, Lieutenant Governor Potter, who serves as the Territory's Commissioner of Insurance, said residents should take steps now to ensure that they have the right type and amount of insurance coverage to protect their assets. Lieutenant Governor Potter, Director of Banking and Insurance Gwendolyn Hall Brady, and Director Designee of ITEMA, Mona Barnes, have collaborated to launch an active public education campaign to educate residents. Well, the 2015 hurricane season is officially here, and of course, like we mentioned, it ends in November, although it's predicted to be a slow season. About 6 named storms throughout the year. The Virgin Islands Territorial Emergency Management Agency still urges caution, and here's why from Vitema.
We have experienced hurricanes in the past, even though we've had a below normal season predicted. So we'd like the community to not be complacent and to stay as informed as possible, to prepare their homes, to make sure they have the necessary basic emergency supply kits. They can go to www.ready.gov, and then for Spanish speakers, there's www.listo.gov.
Okay, well, just a quick update. Innovative customers in the downtown area of St. Thomas experienced an outage stemming from gunfire. Now, that outage occurred on Monday, June 1st, during the early morning hours. The service interruption affected all services, including telephone, cable TV, and internet. Business and residential customers in the area of Garden Street, Long Path, and the northern and southern side of Main Street and Back Street were affected. The innovative construction team repaired cable that was damaged by bullet holes early in the morning, and service was restored at 11 a.m. However, Innovative apologizes for any inconvenience that these service interruptions may have caused customers. Turning our attention overseas, it's a stunning turn of events. FIFA president Sepp Blatter now says he will resign from soccer's governing body. His announcement comes just days after he was re-elected, and several of his top lieutenants were arrested in a sweeping corruption trial. During a news conference on Tuesday, the FIFA president announced that he is stepping down from soccer's most powerful organization. His decision comes just days after winning a 5th term in Switzerland. Blatter will continue as president until FIFA holds its next election. The organization has been dogged by a corruption scandal. Since last week, U.S. prosecutors say 14 people, including senior FIFA officials, accepted millions of dollars in bribes in exchange for commercial rights to lucrative events. So far, Blatter has not been accused of any wrongdoing, but his critics applaud today's decision. Keeping our eye on the economy, here's the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. As we can see, everything down. The Dow 28, NASDAQ down 6, S&P also down at 2. Coming up on News 2, many residents hit the horse races for entertainment, but ever wonder what happens after the work is done for the horses? One local nonprofit focuses on the treatment of retired racehorses in the VI. Plus, in our consumer alerts, these men are committing a crime that could easily target you. How to protect yourself? That's coming up. In April, a horse was found stabbed and left for dead, prompting an animal cruelty investigation by police. On social media, VI residents post sightings of horses loose on the road. One local nonprofit claims this is the tip of the iceberg linked to the treatment of retired racehorses in the VI. News 2's April Knight has that story.
Lynn Utek has been single-handedly running VI horse rescue and retirement for many years now, and all that time without pay.
Our mission is horse advocacy. That means we want to take care of the horse in their aftercare, after racing, rehabilitate, retrain, and rehome.
Sometimes she'd get volunteers like horse trainer Chrissy Rhodes to retrain the horses fresh off the tracks.
Builds new muscle tone. It helps their brain because they start thinking instead of just being flightful. They actually have to sit and think.
Some horses have been beat or abused, and so you have to let them understand that all humans are not like that.
Utek was one of the testifiers at a 2013 Senate hearing where the Department of Agriculture revealed that an average of 60 horses a year enter the Virgin Islands.
Testifiers at the Senate hearing in 2013 pretty much agree on one thing. There's a lot of interest in the horses when they're coming into the territory, but when their racing days are over, they're pretty much forgotten.
A lot of horses not being retired in a humane fashion. Worthy, for instance, was found behind the hospital on grounds tied up. Many horses are still tied up in the bush.
Act number 7318 funneled a minimal amount of video lottery proceeds to Utek's organization. Those funds were eventually split with Golden Age Ranch on St. Thomas that also takes in retired racehorses. According to Utek, the resources to humanely retire Virgin Islands racehorses are definitely not enough.
There should be more rules and regulations in the aftercare during the races and the aftercare.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
In other news, the territory's first farm-to-school conference hosted by the Virgin Islands Department of Education's Special Nutrition Programs May 28th at UVI's Albert Sheen Campus Great Hall brought together stakeholders in education, agriculture, government, and the general public for formal discussions on advancing the joint goals of having locally sourced foods served in school cafeterias, the incorporation of farming in classroom curriculum, and the establishment of gardens at each of the territory's public schools. It was a successful event. The local chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen held their first awards ceremony Sunday. They gave out awards in more than 20 categories, including scholarship, support, and sponsor awards. They recognized Robert J. Phipps as the first student who went through the program and got licensed as a pilot. 4 others who did solo flights were inducted into the Robert J. Phipps Pioneer Club.
You know, sometimes we have organizations in a community that's doing a good work. We're working hard for our children. We want to see them have a better future. And this community is so challenging when you're dealing with children. But behind every organization are some great people, some great members, great supporters. So we wanted to take this time to recognize our members and recognize the different organizations in the community that it works with us and helps our children.
Congrats to all the young pilots. Now, she has taken to the skies. St. Croix Central High School senior Regine Rose Acosta took off at the Henry E. Rolson Airport and successfully completed her first solo flight. During the early morning May 19th demonstration, the 17-year-old student maneuvered a Beechcraft Musketeer aircraft in 3 takeoffs and landings. Her flight instructor, Theo Smith, is a professional pilot for Cape Air and JetBlue. Acosta, who plans to pursue a career as a commercial pilot, developed a love of flying in 9th grade after joining the Virgin Islands Youth Aviation Club, where she has been a member for the last 4 years. Acosta joins 4 other students who successfully completed their solo flights and inducted into the Phipps Pioneer Club, as we just reported. Well, time for our consumer alerts. Mail arrives at your home every day, but do you know if your mail is being tampered with or even stolen? As Consumer Alerts found out, knowing the answer to that question could end up saving you time and money. Here's more.
You're looking at ATM photos taken of Rolando Solano and Jose Antigua as they deposit checks not written to them. Postal inspectors say they began tracking this duo after investigating complaints from customers not receiving their mail.
When we looked at that, those checks going into this account matched up with the address and the name of the victims, of the people that had said they hadn't received the mail or the mailbox had been pried open.
With photos of the thieves' faces, authorities began the process of trying to identify them.
We then put up wanted posters in local post offices, and we got a hit. We got someone that came in and said, "Hey, I know this guy."
That is when both men were taken into custody. Inspectors say the lesson here is simple. Keep track of your mail, when it arrives or when it's missing.
Be mindful. If you don't receive mail for a couple of days, or if you notice that your mailbox might be damaged, report to the post office.
Okay, be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.